Former Finance Minister Trevor Manuel has been honoured with a special award at the Sunday Times Top 100 Companies ceremony held in Sandton. The annual event recognises some of the best performing JSE-listed companies based on profits generated over the past 5 years. Manuel was recognised for his exceptional contribution to the development of South Africa. Well, our reporter Mbongeni Muthwa caught up with the former Finance and Planning Minister at the event.
Mr. Trevor Manuel, thank you very much for joining us. Congratulations on your award. How do you feel?
It's a great privilege. I think that one must never take awards for granted because it can never be about an individual. It's about the environment that shapes us. I'm privileged to have a very supportive family, to have had colleagues and comrades who have helped shape me, sharpen me, debate with me, spar with me, because I think that that's what made our generation what we were allowed to become.
You say since you left public office, you are being put through the process of deministering. Please explain that for our viewers.
You know, when you're a minister, you get in the back of a car. You don't need to do much for yourself. You arrive at the airport, there's a ticket placed in your hand, you whisk through onto a plane. When you're no longer a minister, you've got to drive the car, you've got to get into the front seat and drive, you've got to stand in the queue, produce your ID every time you board a plane. There are a whole range of things you've got to learn to do anew. And I laugh about the fact that my family are there who remind me from time to time that, you know, you're just an ordinary human being, you're not a minister. But I laugh with them and say, perhaps in the future, the privilege of ministers will belong to all of us. As IT advances, there'll be voice recognition, there'll be driverless cars, everybody will sit in the back of a car, so we'll all get there eventually.
When you look at the stage of the South African economy right now, how do you feel?
I'm very worried about the South African economy. And I think in the circumstances when one analyzes all of the data that was released by Minister Nene last week, I know that his medium-term budget policy statement was brave and bold, but it also signaled the fact that the kind of wave of good fortune we've had has run out and some tough decisions are necessary. That's his signaling, and I think we all need to support him in that, because if you need to take tough decisions, then the greater the consensus about the fact that the tough decisions are necessary, the easier it's going to be. And I think that that is a message. He's doing exceedingly well in the circumstances, but there is a message about the broad economic trend lines being quite worrying. Our fiscal position is not strong. Our balance of payments and the way in which we interrelate with the rest of the world is not strong. Our growth performance is below that of our peers, and we can't place all of our dependence on just what the Reserve Bank does. I'm sure that the new governor designate, Mr. Khanyago, will want to prove his point, that he is competent and very able to lead that part of it, but you can't place all reliance on just one instrument, which is monetary policy. We need the balance. The better the balance, the easier the growth. The more the growth, the more the jobs. The more jobs we have, the easier it is to raise the living standards of all South Africans. That's our challenge going forward, and I think I draw strength from the fact that Minister Nhlanhla Nene communicated that in the medium-term budget policy statement last week.
Lastly, Mr. Manuel, how do you feel about what we see in the economy, the phenomenon of protracted strikes?
I'm very worried because the biggest losers are always the workers. You know, you can do the economic analysis, you can run models on this. Frequently, beyond a certain point, workers can never recover what they've lost for the rest of their lives. If I look at the strike in the platinum sector that lasted for 5 months, and I look at what the levels of increase were, and I look at what the earnings levels of workers are, they will never in the rest of their working lives recover. That is why a number of workers feeling the pinch, have actually decided to remain in rural areas and not return to the mines. It's very worrying when that starts to happen, because it signals that people lose confidence in the ability to improve on their own living standards by dint of hard work. We've got to watch these things at all times and never take for granted the determination of workers to raise the living standards of their families.
Mr. Manuel, it's always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.